Hello everyone, continuing on with our Whose NHL jersey would I buy and why, and of course today talking about the Buffalo Sabres. Now before I start, I'd like to apologize for not getting out some videos as of late. The Wi-Fi has had some major issues and they're actually having to call out a guy because it is still being a problem, so I'm hoping that I'm able to get this video out within the next day or two. But when you live in a fairly rural area, it becomes an issue. But of course, we will go on without that and say subscribe if you are new. Now let's get to it. And the Sabres are a team that is building for the future, or at least looks like they will. So whose jersey would I buy? I would be buying Owen Powers. And let's talk about the reasoning behind it. Of course, you know, it's cool that he was drafted #1 overall. Part of that very, very talented Michigan team. Had 3 guys go in the top 5 of that draft. And they look to be a collection or a trio of players that could make a very big impact for the team. So anytime you get a jersey, you know, having a guy that is a former #1 overall pick would be cool to do, because it probably means that they are going to be a good player if they're drafted #1 overall. And then another thing I liked about him is he went back to college. I mean, it's not very normal. In fact, it hadn't happened since 2005 or 6. That a player had been drafted first overall and then ended up going back to an amateur league. And that was kind of the appeal, though. He made us wait a little bit to see what we were going to get as he tried to do things in Michigan. And I liked having to wait a little bit. Wasn't thrilled about it, but, you know, just waiting for him to get there and see what his impact could be for Buffalo was kind of an enticing thing. Now, when he got there, he came in and was able to play a big amount of minutes. For a blue liner, you're looking at a guy that is expected to be part of the top 4, and if you drafted him first overall, you want him to be a top pairing defenseman, your #1 defenseman. He came on in his rookie year, and he averaged 22 minutes per night, a little over 22 minutes. His only game that he didn't play at least 20 minutes was his very first game in the league against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Played 19 minutes and 50 seconds there. So it appears that he can play a lot of minutes out on the ice. Of course, he is young, so that is nice, and he's able to do that because that is able to fill up a lot of time for his team to not have to worry about one of the defensemen. You know, if he came in there and he was struggling to play 14, 15 minutes, that'd be a concern. But to go out there and play 20 plus, I love that for him. And another thing is he was able to average a little over 2 shots per game. But I think what's so good about him is that he's able to get good shots. A lot of times you'll see defensemen, they won't pinch and they'll take a lower quality shot towards a blue line, won't go in. Imagine that. And I actually just did a preview for the Buffalo Sabres that's going to be coming out here in probably like a week or whatever. And Power was one of those guys they talked about. Owen was attempting 17 shots on the year, 10 were on goal, 6 were blocked, only 1 missed the net. That tells me, obviously, that he's not missing the net, which is a good thing. But B, I went back and looked at his shots. Most of his shots were down low, where he's able to get good quality chances. This is why I think it bodes well for him. He had 2 goals in 8 games, which puts him on pace for about a 20-21 goal season. I think in the coming years, if that holds, where he's able to get those shots down low and he's able to pinch and to get those looks, that he could be a better scoring defenseman in the league, which is something that I really would look forward to and a big reason why I'd like to get his jersey. And then the final thing is we already can see that he looks to be a good player. Plays a lot of minutes, had a really good chance to score for his team or help his team out in terms of expected goals for and goals for percentage in general. And I think we are at this point where we know he's going to be good. We just have to see how good he will be, which is a big appeal for me, kind of like how we had to wait for him originally to make the jump to the NHL. We have to see the jump on how good he can be, because from that 8 games, while it's a very tiny sample size, he was able to play well and look to be easily a factor for them in a top 4 role, and obviously in the coming years could be a top pairing defenseman, their best defenseman. I wouldn't doubt it if he's able to progress. So that is whose jersey I would buy and why. Of course, talking about Owen Power, whose Buffalo Sabres jersey would you buy? If you could, let me know down below in the comments. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe if you are new. Everybody stay safe, have a great night, and you go off hockey all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.